Babe, what you got there?
We got this Holley Intech cold air intake. Not for the Trans Am though. This is going on the Z06. We're gonna head up to Bowling Green. My friend Brad's gonna help me install it. We got Leah on the camera. This should give me 45 horsepower and 38 pound-foot of torque on an already impressive 650 horsepower, 650 pound-foot of torque. So let's get up to Bowling Green and let's get this baby installed. Check out what we got. We got to unbox it because I got some stuff in the back and it won't fit otherwise. But I feel like it's Christmas Day. We got the air filter inside here because it's a different shape than the one that comes in the car now. Got all the clamps and screws. Got the custom air box here. And then we got the tube. This is where we'll put the intake nipple there and ready to rock. Pretty simple. Just a few pieces. More horsepower. Well, I've owned this Z06 for the past 2 years. I've been driving it for the last 7 while my dad owned it previously. This is a fast car, 6.2 liter supercharged V8, but I've gotten used to the speed and I wanted a little bit more. That's why I got this air intake. But Leah's only ridden in the car a couple times and I wanted to do a little baseline pull here so she can see how it feels before and then after with the air intake. So we are in sport mode. We're on the interstate, so I'm just gonna do a little acceleration and do our little butt dyno here since we don't have a real dyno to test. So here we go. Damn, that felt really fast actually. Maybe I don't need the air intake. Oh my God, that was good. That was a good pull. Depending on where you're at, like in the gearing ratio and just temps outside and just, I feel like a lot of different factors play in. It feels faster some days than others. And that was like really quick actually. And again, I've done hundreds, if not thousands of pulls in this car over the past 7 years. And that was really quick. So yeah, I'm pumped to see. The air intake should give us more horsepower, more pound-foot of torque on the higher end of the RPM range and kind of smooth things out without a tune. That's the big thing that I'm excited about. So we'll do one more little acceleration and then we'll go ahead and get it installed and then we'll do some after pulls. Jesus. This thing is quick. What do you think about the speed of the stock Z06?
I think it's pretty good for stock.
Yeah, it's fast. Rocking the Holley shirt. So am I. Should be very fast afterwards. What's up, dog? Good. Here's the before with the stock setup and the air box there, which will soon look a little bit different. Here's what it's gonna look like installed. Brad put that on his 17 Grand Sport. Looks incredible. Step 1, you're gonna need a 7mm socket and we're gonna remove the 4 screws here around the cooling duct. We'll take this off throughout the install and then we'll put it back in at the very end. Once you got the 4 removed, you'll just slide this right out. There you go. Pretty easy. Step 2 is to use the 8mm and loosen up this band clamp right there. Loosen up this band clamp with that same 8mm right there as well. Step 3 is gonna be unplug the mass airflow sensor. So you pop that red tab out, just push that off to the side there. Step 4 is gonna be remove this hose so we can just kind of wiggle it out. I'll let you, perfect, so that slides right off once you've loosened those band clamps, and we're gonna pop that out, and then we won't be using that anymore. We will use the band clamps though, but.
We also need to undo this right here.
Oh yeah. Slide that right off, and
pull that up.
There we go. So we're gonna get rid of this and replace it with that. That definitely seems a lot more like, less restrictive, like you said. It just kind of flows out nice and long versus all.
And you'll see a difference when the filter design box.
Kind of stubby, but this is good. Step 5 will be remove this little box here, which will be the air filter inside with a 25 Torx bit. That'll just help be easier to get it out versus having to slide the whole thing out. Ooh, that's hot. I'm gonna have LT4 stamped on my hand now. Dang. Yeah, don't put your hand on that after you've been driving for an hour and a half. Excellent. There you go. interesting. So we're gonna have a completely different shape. It's gonna be a lot more round.
You'll see a lot, yeah, larger surface.
This oval here, and we're gonna be replacing it with that. So as you can see, a lot more airflow, a lot less restrictive on this new component that we're gonna be installing with the Intech.
So then go ahead and pull the filter out of the backside
There
there.
we go. Pop the filter out. Let's see how, is that not terribly dirty? And we'll see a little size comparison here of the two old with the new. As far as like shape-wise, what really is, and this is a lot heavier, but
yeah, it's just you got larger flow area, bigger circle.
And that's kind of cool. Look at that. It's got Intech stamped right on the inside of that. I don't know. It just feels better.
Yeah,
you know, like
quality.
yeah, the quality feels better. Feels like I got more.
And then
more
even just
horsepower.
like, you know, inlet into inlet to inlet.
Oh yeah, that's huge. All right, so step 6. Now that we got most everything out, is going to be using 10 mil to remove this bolt here and this bolt over here. And we're going to pop out the rest of the airbox.
Pull straight out. There's some grommets that hold it in.
Ooh.
There you go.
All right, so get the airbox out, and it might help to have a friend that can kind of lift this up or just kind of carefully pop it out, but I had to get the grommets out. And then we're gonna remove the grommets and the metal from here and then pop it over to the new one. The locating grommet is actually this one down here. It's had that kind of like half circle knob on it, and yeah, we're already only what, 10 minutes in, and we got half the job done. Now it's just time to put in the new.
There's a little metal retainer, you gotta make sure you don't lose
Perfect.
too.
So you slide that out, and that's the locating grommet, which will go
which we need to
put on this side there, that bottom one there. You're inserting these rubber grommets before you put the retaining clip in. You got the locating one in right here. You go in from the back side, and it's kind of like a sandwich. You're gonna kind of slide it in, and then that should be the best way to get it in. I was trying to go in from the front earlier, and it didn't go in as well, so then I basically it'll sandwich in, and then you want to make sure that it sits flush on that front side, and there you go. Then you just pop in the retaining clip
from the front side.
from the front side.
Yep.
And there you go. Step 7 is going to be removing these 2 screws from the mass airflow sensor, and they're going to reinstall it onto the new body with the supplied screws. So we'll go ahead and get this popped out here. Cool. We'll just pop it straight out.
So then make sure you don't touch it.
Yep, sounds good.
And then just slide it in there. You can't mess up which way you put it in because the holes only line up one way.
Okay, excellent.
And then these, yep.
So you put your new screws in. So we throw a little Teflon tape on the crankcase ventilation nipple. Then we're gonna thread it right into the port, hand tight. Then once we get it hand tight, we're gonna get a 13 millimeter wrench and do a 1/4 turn extra, as you can see here. And there you go. So that's nicely in there, sealed, seated, got the airflow sensor in. Now we're ready to start installing it back into the car. All right, step 8 is gonna be to take the intake coupler and put it on the throttle body. Now we put a little bit of soapy water on here. That should make this a lot easier. And just like that, we basically got it on. There you go. It just took about 5 seconds. So take the extra time, use some soapy water, preferably wear some gloves since it's kind of warm. We've been driving the car, and just like that, it slid right on. So super easy. Definitely recommend soapy water. Go ahead and tighten on this band clamp here, connecting to the throttle body. And then once we do this, we're gonna start piecing the rest of it together. All right, so here's our locating grommet, and we're gonna locate to this little nub down here. Again, might be good for 2 people if you got it, but otherwise you could lift it up one-handed here, but we're basically gonna slide this in, and again, get this locating grommet down to there. So we're gonna go ahead and pop that in. I guess I can come in down through here maybe, or maybe come in from that way, okay. So we'll come in down through here, and I found my locating grommet, and I'm gonna go up over that, and there you go. Then we'll pop this right there, and using a 10 mil, just tighten that back up into the inner fender. As he wraps that up, we're getting close to being done with this. The final part's gonna be putting that dry air filter element into that box and then putting the tube on, reinstalling this cover, and then we should be set. So super easy, and again, the coolest part about this is no tuning required after. You just pop it on and you're ready to go. Now we got that in, we're gonna install the dry filter element in here. Just gonna pop it right in, just like that. Put some soapy water on that lip and got it fully seated inside the air box. Takes a little bit of finagling here to get it fully around all edges. Put a little soapy water on the outside of this as well. I'm gonna slide that right in to the filter. Raise these up. Pop this right in. And make sure before you get that seated and before you connect it here that you got the line ready to plug in. So now you're just gonna work this over the edge here. There you go. I said the hardest part about this is getting that in there lined up and then getting this over the edge, and then we're gonna reinstall the band clamp. We fully snapped it off or pulled it off here just so we could get it, but yeah, even with the soapy water, this part is slightly difficult to get that fully seated in there and then to get this around, but now we're at the home stretch, just tightening and then replugging in. Go and plug in this right there till you hear it snap. You're gonna plug in the mass airflow sensor and make sure once you plug it in, you do that final little lock there with the red tab. Final step, once you got that all to your liking, snugged up and nice, we're gonna go ahead and put this back on the same way we uninstalled it in step one, and then we'll be set with this. So let's go ahead and wrap it up. Here it is, fully installed. I like how it doesn't really interrupt the flow of the engine. It doesn't look like gaudy or obnoxious or just kind of like out of sorts. If the average person didn't know the difference, they wouldn't know that that's not how it came stock. So I think it looks really nice. It fits right up under there really well. And let's go ahead and get it started up for the first start, and then we'll do a little pull and see if Leah thinks it's faster or if I think it's faster. 7 years of driving this car, it should be nice to see a little increase in horsepower and torque. Thanks again to my boy Brad. What up for the install. Again, he's got the same thing on his Grand Sport, or very, very similar, slightly different here. Not as big of a horsepower gain on that versus this, but it's a very similar concept. Doesn't feel any faster. I don't know, what's wrong with it? Letting Brad take it for a little spin here. Yeah, I can definitely hear that.
Can you hear it?
I can hear a lot more, especially with this passenger side window down. You get a lot more like sucking noise because it's better on the intake for sure. That's badass. Dude, I love it. Nice. All right, time to get Leah's reaction here. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Woo! Fast?
Yeah, I say so.
You definitely can tell that it's just like a lot more open, breathes a lot better, just feels and pulls a lot higher on the top end and through those higher RPMs. And I want to give a big thanks to Holley again for partnering with me on this and hooking me up with this intake. If you guys are interested and have a C7 and want some more power, couldn't recommend it more. Badass product, love it.